Hi, I'm Mick. I'm the founder of With Love. With Love is a platform that helps young people practice empathy and improve their communication skills through pen paling with animated friends.
I don't know if you guys, again, how many of you have kids, but my kids don't really tend to write long form, right? Even like a text like hello is like H, right? Like everybody has their own, as if like hello is just too long. And so launching a program that is actually inspiring kids to engage in kind of long form writing, something that's been forgotten and isn't really kind of encouraged in daily social use. How do you teach that?
Yeah, I think one misconception is that kids do not want to write. And just to backtrack for a second, we originally thought the product was going to deploy as like a kind of like a co-viewing experience between 8 to 11-year-olds. But what we found is that when we deployed to these libraries, that there were kids that were like 12, 13, 14 years old who were really interested in picking up this platform. And what we found is that everyone wants to tell some story in some capacity about themselves, and they are consistently reinforced to not do this to other people because it's either kind of you're talking about yourself too much, or this isn't really the place to do it, or my parents aren't actually listening to me, and I don't really have a place to. My brother and sister aren't really the right person to do this, and my friends are going through something right now, and this is just it gets really complicated for young people. Especially when you're that age, when you're starting to develop these feelings and emotions that are complicated, new, and complex. Well, the long form writing process actually came in really at an important time for a lot of these young people because when they would start and they'd see this empty form field, they would like write the equivalent of a YouTube comment or like a TikTok comment of content. But then through the coaching of the platform and these characters and the way that we've built kind of these, effectively that we kind of think about like thinking tools in the platform, these characters would kind of gradually coax you to express yourself in more meaningful ways. And it's not like we're asking sensitive information from them, but it's about, okay, you wrote about Roblox and you wrote about why getting skins is really important to you. Expand upon that point. And so the characters within their personalities and within the context of the system will have you kind of emphasize what's already there in terms of the content. And when kids feel like they have a safe place to do this and they can trust the characters of the platform, they will do it. That is what we're finding. And they go through the process, they expand a little bit more, and the things that they're saying become a little bit more verbose. And we have these a comparison I can show you guys if you're interested afterwards of before and after using our platform for like 1 to 2 sessions with these characters and talking to them. And it's this, again, like the TikTok comment, and then it's like paragraphs worth of them like pecking away because they finally feel like they can say what they're thinking about and not have to be relegated to it needs to be in proper citation format. It needs to be, my spelling needs to be correct. That's not what we're going for. It's just about expression. And that is what's important to creating the baseline for better communication skills.
Mick, you use AI in a totally different way.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you talk through that a little bit?
Yeah, I think this room has a very different perspective than the general audience who is engaging with a lot of these resources and tools. It's still a mystery box to a lot of people of how this functions and what engaging with AI means. Dr. Sonia has done like a really incredible job kind of laying a path and framework so that we can create more ethical solutions to these kinds of tools. Ours is character driven, so there is going to be a certain point where you're interacting with a AI component of the experience. But even in that circumstance, the way that we try to do it is set a real framework around what we know is going to be a generated response. We kind of talk about our technology like a puzzle block where we have all of these different inputs that we're mixing around at different times. And AI is only like a tiny component of that, which is meant to remix and effectively associate parts of the conversation that you're having with these characters back to the user. But it's really scripted. Like a lot of what we're doing is scripted and you're not really able to tell, hopefully, in a lot of ways. But we're doing it to make sure that we're meeting standards of what this conversation and communication looks like so you don't veer too far into the parasocial realm, which is our ultimate concern. The more we can have conversations like this and build some sort of framework of how close are we veering into areas which could create a culture of isolationism, I think is the best kind of scenario.
How are you measuring your impact?
Yeah, I think it really does relate back to the before and after sentiment, as I mentioned earlier with the letters. I am very concerned, as our whole team is, with when we see kind of what's coming out of like fourth grade classrooms in terms of quality of writing, creative writing capabilities, interest in storytelling. And so our whole thing is like, if we can make any sort of impact with just providing some sort of framework of thinking about the creative writing process differently and expressing yourself just a little bit more than you usually would and feeling like it's okay to do that, you will become a better writer. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't necessarily know how to spell words. You just need to start writing and feeling like you're encouraged to do so. So that our measuring impact for us is really just looking at, when we're testing this platform out and seeing when we get like a general sentiment analysis back of like before and after, what through the sessions of using with love and interacting with the characters, how did it create something meaningful? So that's what we're looking for.